Attention homeschooling parents. Have you ever wondered why your child is so smart and capable at home, yet struggling academically? For example, your child is smart and competent when it comes to riding a bike, building with blocks, taking care of the pet, doing their favorite hobby, or helping you with the day activities around the house. Yet in formal academic settings, your child is struggling. To understand why this is the case, we need to understand the difference between how a child learns those activities they are good at in the home versus how they learn in more formal academic settings. First of all, kids understand things that are real and physically present, as opposed to things that are not real and not physically present. For example, a real flower is easier to understand than a pretend or imaginary flower. As another example, here's me doing the activity of drinking a real cup of coffee. Now here's me drinking a pretend cup of coffee. We understand the pretend cup of coffee because we already know what drinking a real cup of coffee is. The takeaway here is that what is real leads to understanding the pretend and not the other way around. This means, surprisingly enough, that young kids understand the real-life activities better than any pretend counterparts. A child will learn reading much better through the actual reading of a book than through pretend reading situations, such as video games, worksheets, or flashcards. While these activities are related to reading, they are not the real thing. Let's now make two categories: actual activities versus pretend scenarios. Here we will put easier for kids to understand, while here we will put harder for kids to understand. Here we have a real cup of coffee. Here we put the pretend cup of coffee. Here let's put reading. Here we will put video games, word sorts, worksheets, and flashcards. Now let's think a minute about what kind of academic lessons your child has been struggling in. Under which category would you list them? Usually when a child is struggling to learn some real activity, such as reading or writing, there is always some pretend version involved. So what is the solution? We need to teach kids directly through the actual real-life activity without using the abstract pretend scenarios. To carry out this game plan, we need to leave the old school of teaching kids behind and implement new methods that are finally going to make the difference for your child. Introducing the Teach Kids Academics the Way They Learn to Ride a Bike homeschooling course. A course that teaches parents instructional methods based on the premise that kids ages 4 to 8 learn best from real-life activities. You will learn how to homeschool your child differently without the typical lessons which haven't been working for your child. Get your smart child learning today with modern homeschooling methods that have done the job for hundreds of kids.